All right. Not sure if anyone's in there. I think I forgot to rename. All right. Not sure if anyone's in there. And mute this. Edit video. See if it'll allow me to rename it now. Changes saved. Let's go back. Alrighty. So, if you tune in later to watch this, or if you stop in now, this is where we left off. I think I figured out the way to fix this line in the blade. It's the method of construction method. I found some errors with it. So let's go modify the original sketch. Actually, let me get rid of some of these. Whenever you create something, this keeps everything in the order that you create them. And sometimes moving things around messes them up. Like this, once I modify this, some of these other features are going to become null because I've changed this. So when I originally created it, I did this. Let me skip that. Now, I'll show you the wrong way before I do it the right way. So this creates the actual shape that I want. So I'm going to continue and ignore because I know that this is going to cause problems in the tree. Hey, Marco and Nods Our Life. How's it going? You see, it messed up all these other features that were created. So I'll just delete them. Get rid of some of these other problems. I'm doing it this way just because we're all learning here at the same time. Now that I know the right way to do it, ideally I would just start over because this isn't really a real part anyway. But I'm going to get rid of most of this till I get just a flat extrusion, same way you would order it from a water jet cutter. I'm going to keep this plane here. No, I don't need that plane. Or do I? No. Okay, this I want to delete. Well, before I delete this, I'll show you what I mean. Let me get rid of these. So this cut revolve. Since this is flat, but this curves up, when you cut this way, it's wider here than it is down here. That's the problem. So that's why I can't do it this way, because then if I put the final bevel on here, it gets wider here, and I want it to be consistent the whole way. So I found what I was doing wrong is the way that I constructed this sketch. So if I get rid of this, the correct way to do this would be let me see what planes I have in here. Okay, I think I need a plane. I'm not good at creating these either, so bear with me. Reference geometry plane. I want to create a plane somewhere. I will try this point, this point. I don't know if that, yeah, it's not quite what I want. Actually, I know what I want to do. Let's end that. Let's create a plane. Let's create a coordinate system right here. And then create a plane on that coordinate system. On the XZ. If I can figure out how to select the XZ properly. There we go. So now I have a plane to build a tool on for cutting this out. And this is still the wrong way, but I'm going to show you the wrong way, which is a little better than the other wrong way before I do it the right way. So here we want to create a sketch for cutting the primary bevel. So I will just go to sketch, and it defaulted to that plane, so that's good. And we want to create this sketch. I just want to create a triangle, and I'm not sure. I might need to create another. I'll start it this way. That's not what I want. And if I were designing an actual knife, I would use I'd calculate the actual angle I want, but for now I just want it to be far enough away. If I were actually building a knife, you could do heat treating and not. Oh, that's the problem. So if you touch something, you can see that it brings that line. Oh, why did that happen? You want it to be a little wider than the material. Actually, I could probably drag this down a little bit. This out. Maybe not. I probably can't. Okay. So now I want to do a not sure what I want to do here. How do I exit out of this? Oh, I got exit sketch. Duh. Okay. So now I want to do a swept cut. I want to sweep this shape. Oh, I need another geometry. I need more geometry in that other. I need another sketch. So now that I have this, this will be the cutting tool. So this will cut that triangle shape out of this material. But I need a guide spline to go along. So this is where I'll show you the wrong way and then go back and do it the right way. Create a new sketch, but I want to do it on this plane. Oh, I'm not sure how to. If I select this solid first and then do sketch, yeah, so it'll create the sketch on the solid of the plane of the solid. So here is the wrong way. Create a line and then an arc or curve. I don't think it actually created that line. Actually, I want to go all the way to touch this. Huh. Why is it not creating it? Maybe I don't need to double click. There we go. So let's exit this sketch and go back to the swept cut. And I should be able to select my cutting tool. And since it's already connected to that spline, it realized that that's the guide curve. As you can see, it's going to create a line here. So that's why this is the wrong way. But I'll go ahead and finish this just so you can see that doing it this way will maintain a uniform thickness the whole way. But it's still not right because I don't like this line here. Even though it's not really in the model. If I sent this, if we did some CAM programming and sent this to a CNC, it wouldn't model a line in there, but I just don't like it. And I would just do a mirror on the middle plane to copy this to the other side. You don't have to create everything twice. So now I will back out of that and show you what I did wrong. So this is that last sketch. Actually, I can just edit it. Let's edit this sketch. Get rid of this line and this spline. And now if we just create just a spline, and there's probably a correct way to do this, and I just don't know it. But if I just went here, or actually here, to the intersection point, if I just went there and then here, and up here, you can see it just brings that spline way out of whack. I don't want to curve the whole way. I want flat and then a curve. So what you have to do, what did it do? Let's get rid of that. So you can trick it by just doing a spline and just give it several points along the way. And then up here where I want to start curving up, I'll just put several really close together so that when I go up here and then to here, it may have got, it's barely noticeable if at all. So when I use the cutting tool, it'll get rid of any slight imperfection just between these 2 points that might have occurred the way I created this spline. So now we can exit this sketch and rerun that same swept cut. Now, did you pick the one line? Okay, it didn't pick the guide curve. So you can see down at the bottom, it always tells you what you need to do next. Down here, it says select sweep path, and that'll be this line. So as long as they're touching together, and the tool knows what to do, just hit the go button, and there we have a uniform line that follows the contour of this. And now I can show this front plane, do a mirror, and it says select the feature to mirror. I'm going to select that cut. Okay, select the feature to mirror. This is the plane feature. Okay, now that should just mirror it along this plane. So now primary bevel is done. And it's all uniform. So we learned something. Now I can go in and let me hide some of these. I don't need this coordinate system shown. That's not good. Now we can just do simple fillets. I have no idea what size to use here. 10 millimeter is quite large. Let's go like 1 millimeter. We could do that on all the corners. Sometimes you don't want to put all of the features in one, so you can go back and just get rid of one or the other. Oops. Yeah, like that. No, I don't know how to deselect. Backspace doesn't work. So let me forget what I just said. Let's do a fillet. Just here. And looks pretty good to me. Once it's all finished, I would go and put a small fillet on every edge, just so even if you don't have a machine fillet, then you can have them, I forget what they call it, but you tell the machine shop to just hit it with a quick grinder to soften all the edges. You know, the guy that makes the least amount of money in the machine shop. I suppose nowadays you could just tumble it too, and it'd probably make them not super sharp. So there we have that. Not sure where to go now. Suppose we could do the secondary bevel the same way. Except, let's bring this coordinate system back. No, we don't need that, just the plane. Show that plane. Now I want to create another sketch on the primary bevel to do the secondary bevel. So I'll just go to sketch, create sketch here. Did it wrong again. Exit sketch. Let me select the surface first and then sketch. And then sketch. What are we doing wrong here, people? Maybe I need to create a plane. Okay. This is going to be a little more difficult. I don't know. Okay, we can do that. Again, if I were doing this for an actual knife that I were designing, I'd probably do some calculations, make some measurements. Let's put a nice big angle on there. And here, we want to go to the center point because we want this one to remove all the material. So now, again, I guess this time we won't make it bigger than the material. So we'll finish that sketch and start another one for the guide curve. What's going on here? Okay. Does that sketch even exist? Yeah, it's there. So now we want to create another sketch. I guess we need to do a 3D sketch if we want to do it on this plane. We want to create another spline from here. And we'll go a few spots. Same as we did before. There are probably actual better ways to do this, but we're all learning, right? So now I should be able to run that the same way as I did the other one. But we will see here. Almost the same. There's one thing I have to do different, and I'll show you. So we want to do a swept cut pick this, and this. Okay. There's the profile. Now we'll select this for the guide and hit OK. Oh, that might not be. Yeah, that's a long. Yeah, this isn't going to work. We'll run it and see what happens. Nothing. So let's modify this sketch. See if we can bring this out. No, I don't want to add. I want to delete. There we go. That one should be fine. Now let's try it again. Swap cut. Yeah, I think it still might not work. There's the profile that we want to sweep. There's the guide curve. And I think the problem is that I need to make this bigger so that it's probably not completely slicing through the material. There's probably a way to figure out what the error means too, but I don't know it. Oh, I know what I wanted to do. Direction, follow path, start and end. The profile must be different from the path. Oh. We want a guide curve. It's not selecting that. Well, I'm not sure what I'm doing here, as you can tell. Let me turn these banners off. Sorry about that. EVMUX Ranger and anyone else that may have stopped in. So this sketch, oh, that's all part of the same sketch. That's not good. Let's get rid of this part of that sketch. I think they need to be two different sketches, but I'm not sure. So now let me select this surface and just hit sketch. Create a new sketch. I think maybe I need to create a plane on this surface. Plane is not allowed with general surface. Try using a point. Now I don't know what to do. Let's cancel this. Let's try starting over. Plane. Let's create a plane on this point, this point, and this point. Looks a little weird there, but we'll try it, see what happens. Now let's create a sketch on that plane. That goes from here. Oh, let's pick a command. Create a spline from here. That's not right. Spline. This is weird. Looks like we have another project for next week. Well, at least we got the primary bevel done. Actually, let's change these to 2 millimeters and see what it looks like. All right, I think I'll just throw the fillets back in. Just for something to do. I don't really want to dig into figuring out that other problem while trying to stream. So we'll do something that's easy. Dang it. Oh, I guess I could just unselect it by doing that. Delete it from the list. Sometimes you can select these surfaces and it'll just do fillets in between them, but sometimes that doesn't work right. So I like to make sure I just pick the corners that I want to fillet. I think just those. Maybe I'll add one here. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, that looks good enough for government work. Yeah, Lou. I figured out how to get the primary bevel, but I'm having got stuck on the secondary bevel. If you rewind, which I wouldn't advise anyone to do, as boring as I am, I showed how to do it wrong before I showed how to do it right. But the bevel is even and the thickness is even. I'm not sure where the measure tool is in here. I don't want to add dimensions. I just want to do a measure. Measure. There's a measure tool. So if we measure from this point to this point, 0.8 millimeters should be 0.8 millimeters up here. I hope it doesn't make me a liar. 8.3. Oh, that's adding all of them together. 0.8. Yeah. Whew. I don't know a better way to reset it than to just exit out of it. This should be 0.8 also. 0.8. So we got over that hurdle that probably should have taken 5 minutes to get over, but hey. I could change I could do a full bevel by changing that one sketch that I used to create this swept cut. I could probably just go and do it. Let's see what happens. Maybe not. I don't want to. I don't want to mess with it. I'll probably mess it up worse. I have to start over again, which is always good when you're doing CAD work. The more times you do it, usually the better it sticks. So you want donut scales on this, Lou? Or Ultim? Ultim, is there an Ultim donut scale? What metal should I use? Some of that fine surgical stainless. Huh. Oh, I had a bigger fillet on here before. What if there's a way to edit just this fillet and not all of them? No. So what I can do is edit this fillet and remove this one. If I can figure out which one it is. I think that removed it. And I'll do a separate fillet for that, since we want a different radius on there. And I'll put like a 5 on there. 5 millimeter isn't that big. I could probably change these to a bigger, but the tighter the radius, the more material that's removed. I gotta add one there. And of course, the more material that's removed, the lighter weight this would be, which is the whole reason for the cutouts anyway. I don't want to put donut or ultim. I want donut ultim. Someone got to make that for me. Glow Raffir scales would be sick. Maximum at 121. Well, since I'd probably commissioned someone to make this, I guess I could use something difficult. We would want something that people can heat treat adequately with a little problem. Well, let's get that measure tool back out and see what we got here for overall length. Is there a way to change this to perpendicular? Maximum distance. That's not what we want. That's not what we want. Coordinate system. Let's do this. This line to this solid. Yeah, I need to learn the basic tools here. Okay, why is it ending there? Oh, it's ending at the center of the radius. That's the problem. Try this again. Let's just go point to point. Pick a point here. And see if it'll let me pick a point here. Now this will be close. $190 millimeters. How many inches is that? Seven and a half inches. And this is like 4. So I wanted a shorter blade than the handle. I want a full size handle for someone like myself who might have extra large hands. No, I'll let chat decide the name once we get it finished. We'll have a chat go through names, maybe do a giveaway, maybe some polls after we whittle it down. Yeah, I added a little bit because it was not quite to the edge, but I wonder if it'll let me pick a point. We could do from here to here. So yeah, so that's 4.5 to here. So the handle's at least 4 inches, which is what I wanted. Like maybe 4 1/8 inch. I just think it'd be controllable that way, and I might even put less curve on here. I'm not sure. I think Lou likes this curve, but I'm going to just a gradual, very slight curve at the end to give you, if you're doing some precision cutting. I'll probably end this stream pretty soon. I don't want to take the time to learn to do the secondary curve. I got to figure out what I'm doing wrong here. I need to be able to. Actually, I guess I don't need to be on this plane. I could be on this plane, but I need. Yeah, no. I got to figure out a way. Yeah, I guess I could be on this plane, but I need to start the point here. It could be parallel to this plane, but not on it. Should be able to figure it out with some work. I'll try to work on it before next Tuesday, and I'll stream next Tuesday to finish it up. But before we do anything, I need some opinions. I don't think Mick is a big fan of high-end, overpriced knives. Oh, Lou isn't either, so maybe I'm asking the wrong crowd. But if you were me, would you trade a McNeese Dixon and $400 for this? That is the question of the day. I have a Dixon up for sale on Reddit, and a fella contacted me to see if I wanted to trade this for the Dixon and $400. And that would put me at about $1,040. And I know these are hard to get on the lottery to get one. This is a Rosie XL. So, and I've studied it. The Dixon I carried it and cut a couple boxes with it. It's used, but it's nowhere needing a new edge or anything yet. Just lightly carried. I like to rotate everything that I buy. I don't have any pure safe queens. Though I do have a few that I never really carried and never cut, or I carried and didn't cut. But the reason I'm getting rid of the Dixon is because I got on another job and I'm getting a different Dixon. So the one I have is the bronze, atomic bronze. I don't think the rose is brand new. I don't think it's very used though. I mean, just looking at it, it doesn't. I don't see any bad snails or anything. The guy bought it, and then he bought the colored hardware kit. I'm not too concerned about being used or not. But I know that this model is $1,000. This is, if you get in on a lottery, the last one they had for this, with this zigzag machine pattern, was $1,000. So, but but if you go try to find one of these on eBay, they actually sell for like $1,200 to $1,500, which is the only reason I would pay like $1,040 for something that only cost $1,000. It's Yeah, I'm not sure why he's moving it, and I don't know the guy, so don't all the roses have the relief cut on the outside? I know that Prince Customs switched it and they put them on the inside now, but does Oz do that now? I haven't. I didn't think they did. I understand what you're saying though, Lou. But on the other hand, if I got it and decided I didn't want it, I could probably sell it for $1,200, which I probably wouldn't do because I wouldn't feel right about it. I'd sell it for what I have into it, which is $1,040. Yeah, Marco, that is. Yeah, I won't say too much because I think I showed his name on here, but he showed me his Blade Binge account, and I messaged him through. He first contacted me through Reddit, but not through the ad. But he did send me his Blade Binge account, which has good 100% feedback, only on 8 deals. And he replied to the message that I sent there, so I know it's him. It's not. He didn't just copy someone's account name. He knives their life. I might. I'll probably pass, but and Oz wasn't even that high on my list. But the more I look at him, the more I like him. So anyway, what time of Blades did he move on the bench? I don't know because just looking at the feedback, they don't have links to the actual ad that I could see. I would probably, if I do go through with it, I would probably try to get some more assurances, like a driver's license or something. So if we, I mean, he has no reason to trust me either. I've done 2 trades on Reddit. and a couple buys on Blade Bench. No sales. But I would want some kind of more insurance, like get a driver's license and the address. Since it would be a trade, we'd both have each other's addresses. But I would need some way to file legal action if I needed to. I hear what you're saying, Marco. And that's a lot of money to mess around with. I'd hate to send a $640 knife out and get an Ozark Trail in the mail, or nothing. And legal recourse doesn't always work. I've had a lot of luck so far, but that might be pushing it. Maybe I'll play it safe. Oh, I think I cut myself somewhere. Yeah, Marco, I will. Maybe I won't do it. Something else will come along, and I should probably just sell that Dixon outright anyway, if anyone picks it up. I only got 2 trade offers on Reddit. One of them before I even added that I would consider a trade. No cash offers. And I'm asking a little high on there because Reddit makes you use PayPal goods and services, which charges 3.5% or whatever. So the total I have into it is like $640, so I have to ask $660 on there, which I understand people not wanting to pay. I think I have it $645 on the Discords, but I might put it on Blade Bench just to build up more feedback there, and it'll see more eyes probably. Yeah, you're right, Mick Ranger. The lawyer would cost more. Wouldn't be worth it. And Lou, a man of logic. It's hard to fight that FOMO though, fear of missing out. But there'll be more. And I could always try to get on a lotto for an Oz if I really want one. I'd actually like to handle one before I go and buy one. Because everyone says they're really nice and smooth, but you never know if a knife fits you until you try it, which I haven't really bought many that I've handled anyway. Most of them are blind. Trade for Mick's entire knife collection. Maybe. Anyway, it is 3 p.m. on the Pacific Coast. I don't know if you guys watch Gear something or other. Some guy. I know there's some people going live. Daily Gear Guide. I don't know if you guys are into Daily Gear Guide or what he has. I'm not even sure what kind of content he does. Yeah, that's JD, right? So let's all go over there. Thanks for stopping in, guys. See you next Tuesday. I'm thinking about, like I said, I'm thinking about doing a small giveaway, maybe an Olight or a knife or something, just for the heck of it, just to give back to you guys. I'll talk to you all later. Have a good day. Bye.